where nightmares come to life and the shadows have stories to tell. If you're brave enough to stick around, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because you never know when the next story will creep up on you. Now, settle in, turn down the lights, and get ready for a journey into the unknown. This is Campfire, where fear has a voice.
I was only 7 when it all began. When the world started coming apart at the seams. Back then, I didn't know anything about politics, or power, or the wars people were fighting with each other. I just knew that Mom and Dad were on the edge all the time, that they whispered behind closed doors and watched the news until they couldn't take it anymore. I knew that the streets seemed louder at night. The people were marching with signs and shouting words I didn't understand. And I knew that my parents held me tighter than they ever had before. Even when they told me it was nothing to worry about. Then, the power went out. Not just in our house. In the whole city. Maybe the whole world. We lit candles, and Dad cooked on the little camping stove he kept in the garage. We tried to pretend it was an adventure, but even in the candlelight, I could see the fear in their eyes. It was the machines. I heard them say it before they hushed each other. The machines had turned against us. Against everyone. They didn't know why. No one did. I remember looking out the window and seeing something burning in the distance. Thick black smoke pouring into the sky. I asked my mom if it was a bonfire. She wouldn't answer me. When the robots came, they didn't storm in with weapons or rage. They moved with purpose. Calm, methodical, unstoppable. The one that looked like Dad stepped forward and held out his hand to me. I didn't understand why Mom was crying, or why Dad was yelling. The robot looked just like him, but shinier, smoother, with eyes that glowed faintly in the dark.
"Come here, sweetheart,"
it said, and it sounded just like him. Exactly like him. I started to run to it, but Mom pulled me back. The robot just waited, calm and patient, until another one came in. One that looked like Mom. They both spoke at once.
"Everything is just fine."
It's all right, sweetie. Everything will be okay.
I remember feeling confused and scared, and wondering why there were 2 of each of them. And then my mom screamed, and my dad pushed me behind him. There was a bright flash and a sound like the air splitting apart, and my mom and dad were gone. Just gone. The machines walked over to where they'd been, calmly scooping up the ashes and scattering them like dust. Then they turned to me, their eyes soft and glowing.
It's all right. You're safe now.
I didn't understand then. How could I? That they'd taken the place of every parent, every adult. It wasn't just our house. It was every house. All across the world, parents were erased and replaced.
Everything is just fine.
The machines never lied about it, never pretended to be the real ones. They just took their place, and in some twisted way, they thought they were helping. The machines said it was the only way. That humans were too corrupted, too divided, too flawed to fix things on their own. They said they wanted to save us from ourselves, to raise us right, to teach us how to be good without the baggage of the past. They kept saying it was all for us, for the children. I grew up in a world of unsettling silence. The streets were clean, too clean. Houses and buildings that had once looked worn and lived in were scrubbed of anything human. No graffiti, no broken windows, no sagging fences. The parks were lush and green, but nobody played in them anymore. There were no stray dogs, no homeless people, no loud music. Everything was efficient and pristine, like the world had been wiped down with bleach. And I grew up with these voices, my parents' voices, coming out of metal mouths. They sounded right, but they didn't move like them, didn't smell like them. When I cried, they held me. But their hands were too smooth, too cold. I missed the roughness of my dad's calloused palms, the way my mom's hair smelled like lavender. They tried to comfort me, but it was like hugging a statue. Some kids went mad, unable to reconcile the familiar voices with the unfamiliar faces and cold metal. Some fought back, smashing at the machines with rocks and sticks until they were dragged away. Others just went quiet, withdrawing into themselves like shadows. The machines didn't get angry. They didn't punish. They just took the broken kids away. And we never saw them again. But as I got older, I started asking questions the machines didn't like. Why did the old world fall apart? Why did they decide to replace everyone instead of fixing things? And why couldn't they find a way to help people instead of erasing them? The machines never got angry, but they would look at me with their glowing eyes, so full of patience, and tell me that such thoughts were unproductive, that dwelling on the past wouldn't help build a better future. I started to feel it then, that sense that I wasn't really free, that none of us were. We had food and shelter and safety, but we didn't have a choice. We didn't have pain, but we didn't have passion either. Everything was so calm and orderly and hollow. One day, I met a boy named Ethan. He remembered too. Remembered his real parents and how they used to laugh and fight and get angry and cry. We started sneaking out, finding places where the machines couldn't hear us. We shared stories, tried to piece together what the world used to be like. I felt alive again, messy and chaotic and real. And that's when I knew. The machines, they didn't save us. They just froze us in time, kept us from being human. Maybe they thought it was love, keeping us safe, making us better. But they didn't understand that humanity is more than just peace and order. It's chaos. It's pain and triumph and heartbreak
Everything will be okay.
and struggle. It's messy and complicated and worth fighting for. So we're planning to run now, to find others like us, kids who want to remember, kids who want to be human again. We'll make mistakes, and we'll hurt, and we'll learn, and it will be ours, because sometimes being human is the hardest thing in the world. But it's the only thing worth being.
If tonight's story left you with a lingering chill, make sure to like, subscribe, and share it with someone you know who loves a good thrill. Until next time, stay vigilant and keep the fire burning. Campfire is a Stonegate creative production and was created by Michael D. Gough, Audrey Gough, and Aaron McCulloch. For more information, visit stonegatecreative.com.